Hey, my name is Mohammed. I run a company called Tutor and I'm making this video mainly to talk about my journey here, right? How did I get here? Who Mohammed is? What's his journey like? And mainly documenting it for me. So maybe I can watch it in 5 years' time, 10 years' time, I can remind myself how far I've come. But also for yourself, right? So you know who runs Tutor Easily, you know exactly who I am. You know, maybe you're a client of mine and you don't know a bit about my background, maybe you'd like to know. Maybe you're a future client of mine, you know? So I'll start off where I think I took the first diversion or the first different routes compared to most people. So most people go through the route of university, graduate job, climbing the ladder, promotions, 9 to 5, sometimes 9 to 9 if you're going down, very competitive routes. I'll talk about the first step I took, right? So I did space engineering at university. I did it at bachelor's and then I did it for my master's. And then when I graduated from my master's, I found that even though I wanted to take the traditional route for job security and, so I can make my mum proud and stuff like that, I found it was quite hard. No one was giving me any opportunities. I had 1 or 2 interviews, but I didn't do too well at them. I didn't really, I was trying my hardest, but it was very tough. And maybe you're in that situation, right? Maybe you found it for yourself that it was quite hard graduating from university. But I found it quite tough, right? So the first step I took was okay, I'm not just gonna wait for someone to give me an opportunity. I felt like I'm gonna put it in my hands and I'm just gonna force it, right? So what I did was one day I decided I was going to go to Canary Wharf with a sign, right? And the sign said something along the lines of, graduated from rocket science, graduated with a degree in rocket science from UCL, looking for a career in finance, right? I knew I wanted to kind of have something punchy, something, that was going to catch people's attention. And it worked, right? So that day I met so many people, I shook so many hands, a lot of, CEOs, a lot of, high, people in high positions were coming up to me asking me for my CV and, wanting to know about my story. So I knew that I was going to go there every day until I found a job, right, in Canary Wharf. It worked so well, I was going to go there tomorrow. Now, by the time I came home, somebody had uploaded a picture onto Twitter, and then it kind of took off, right? It was really incredible. Just in one day, I had, tweets from really high achieving people like Richard Branson, like David Miliband, and I started getting interviews for news, for articles, from news stories, which was really fun. I found that quite interesting. I got some media training from a charity that wanted to help me, and following from that kind of little stunt, I guess, I managed to secure a role in venture capital, right? Learning about startups, learning about education, right? It was really down my alley because I had already worked at a school during my university time, so I was like, okay, this is perfect, right? And for 2 years, I learned a lot about that kind of world, and I met a lot of people, and I felt like I could do it myself. I felt like it wasn't out of my capabilities to start my own business. So I wanted to start my own business, and it was Launch Tuition, right? Which you might know, it's a tuition business for A-level physics right now. But I started off, I kind of just was winging it, right? Maybe a few of you already started something and you're winging it, but for me, I was winging it, right? And within 3 months, I knew about social media, I knew about viral marketing. I used that for my Launch Tuition business. It worked really well. I managed to secure 6 or 7 clients just through one tweet on Twitter. pretty good, right? Pretty good. So I left that job and I kind of went into tutoring and tuition business full time. And then I started my tuition center. It was in Northwest London, and we had 4 tutors helping out. We were doing English, math, science, and then all the way up to A levels during that time. It was really good as well. It was a very, very good opportunity. I learned a lot about brick and mortar and, what makes a business tick. I also was trying things myself in terms of like Google ads, Facebook ads. They weren't working well because, again, I was winging it. I probably didn't even try to study at that time. Sadly, I was a 21-year-old, 22-year-old who thought that I knew everything, right? Or thought very highly of himself, or thought too much of himself, right? Which is maybe, it's fine, I get it, right? It's not something that I would recommend other people do. Definitely humble now in terms of like what my capabilities are, what I don't know, and how much I've got to go in terms of training and understanding the world. But back then, can you blame me? I was 21 and I had started my own business. So, anyway, started my tuition center, worked really well, and then COVID hits, right? COVID was a very interesting time because even though we were able to work from home, my specialty was helping students succeed in their exams, right? And within one press conference, Boris Johnson came out and said, all exams are cancelled, right? I'm in the middle of a lesson and my student, the mum puts on the press conference and they're like, all exams are cancelled. I'm like, okay, this is incredible because I'm helping this child improve their ability to go into an exam. What's the point, right? There and then I realized, shit, my business is fucked, right? Because I knew that, people wouldn't need me as much. So I had a lot of students. The majority of the students that stayed with me were like year 10 students / year 7 students who had exams in the future. But the people that left were like A-level students, year 13 students, GCSE students. They were like, I'm getting my predicted grade, mate. So yeah, COVID was a very, very tough time. We had to learn a lot about online marketing at that point as well. So it wasn't easy for me to secure clients online. For me, because of the tuition center, it was quite easy because people would walk by and they would walk in, or they would walk by and they would know that I'm there. Okay, they might not need me today, but they know that there's a tuition center there and they're going to come in tomorrow, right? Where with online, it's very difficult. If you don't remember the website, or if you don't remember the Instagram handle or the whatever handle or the name of the business, how would they ever make sure that they call in tomorrow? So online was a very, very difficult transition, right? Of course, if you get it right, sky's the limit, right? But until you get it right, you're really in the deep end. So I had to actually work with a business coach, right? So 2021, 2022, I worked with a online marketing business coach, spent $6,000 working with him, and it was probably the best $6,000 I've spent in my entire life, right? The amount that I was able to make from that investment was next to probably 100 times, over those few years, because I learned about online marketing, right? I learned about like, what do I need to say in what order in order to get somebody to feel a type of way, right? To make a purchase, to make them take an action that you want them to take. So I learned a lot about that and put that into my business, my online tutoring business, which was really good. Now, we scaled it up to 100 students, right? We hired a few teachers, a few university students to tutor for myself. And then in 2023, I started helping my friends and family tutor on the side, right? So they were asking me, okay, how are you doing this? How do you get clients? Can you help me? All of my friends went to university. All of my friends want nice things for themselves, and they're capable of being tutors. So I helped them, I gave them the right advice, and I started writing everything down, right? Writing down everything that I knew would be useful, mainly to save myself time if I'm going to help people again and again, right? So I started writing everything down, and then I thought, look, if I have this much free time, I got a business, I got tutors that work for me, let me scale this new business called Tutor Easily, helping teachers, tutors set their own business up, right? Give them the right ideas and inspire them to make that action, right? So it started off with just a course. So I'd record videos like this, and people were buying it, but they weren't taking the action that I wanted them to take, Sadly, a lot of people get these courses, they purchase them, they might spend, a few £100, £1,000, a few £1,000 on it, but never take the action needed, which didn't feel right for me. So I wanted to make sure that I was going to create a product that people actually made use out of. So the course, people didn't actually, it wasn't as common as you think. People do sign up without actually making the changes that they need to make. So what I wanted to transition into was more one-to-one coaching, right? And more done for you coaching. So people have the motivation, but to actually do it is a different challenge. So I thought, look, let me just do it for them, right? For me, it'll take, a day to do something where it'll take you a month, right? To study, understand, test, make a mistake, test, make a mistake, and then figure it out at the end of the month to do one day's work for me. So I felt like, look, it's a good way to scale. It's a good way to help out, to feel good about myself, to feel good about my time. And since 2023, we've helped around 2,500 teachers and tutors, right? And we keep getting, lovely messages, lovely videos, lovely texts from clients saying, thank you so much. You've given me the confidence. Thank you so much. I've managed to secure lots of students through you. Thank you so much. I didn't know about, online marketing. I didn't know about LinkedIn. I didn't know about Facebook ads. It's very, very nice to hear, right? It's very, very nice to hear. That's my story so far. Hopefully you found it useful and you were able to see who I am, my story so far, and maybe give you an insight into what motivates me. And yeah, hopefully it's not too long a video. Hope you found it interesting.